Hey guys, it's Medicosis Perfectionalis, where medicine makes perfect sense. Today we have a great mnemonic about calcium. As you know, calcium is important in making bone, muscle contraction, that's a terrible looking muscle, and the blood coagulation. Bones are made of two main things, matrix and minerals. Matrix is type 1 collagen mainly, and type 1 is in bone. And the minerals are calcium. By the way, calcium that's in the bone has no charges, unlike the calcium that's floating in the blood. Some of it has charges. Only the charged calcium is physiologically active, but the calcium that's in the bone has no charges, therefore it's not physiologically active. Only the charged calcium, which is physiologically active, can exert a negative feedback on the parathyroid hormone and other hormones. Only the physiologically active calcium can lead to symptoms of hypocalcemia and hypercalcemia. I have never seen any patient who developed tetany because of the unionized calcium. But most of the patients that develop tetany, it's usually due to hypocalcemia, and by hypocalcemia I mean decreased serum calcium, specifically the charged ionized calcium. Here is your nice neuron. It's a somatic nerve fiber, and this is motor. Calcium comes in here, and it's gonna cause this vesicle to rupture, and it's gonna release what's inside. So what's inside? Acetylcholine. Acetylcholine will come here through the neuromuscular junction and bind to the acetylcholine receptor, specifically N sub M. This M is for muscle, and this N is for nicotinic. And now in the skeletal muscle, the sarcoplasmic reticulum, which is a modified smooth endoplasmic reticulum, is going to release calcium. Calcium is going to bind to troponin. But we have three types of troponin. We have troponin I, troponin T, and troponin C. Which one of them? Troponin C, honey. We called it troponin C because of calcium, which starts with a C. Duh! Now, when calcium binds troponin C, it's going to displace tropomyosin from the actin and making this surface free to bind to myosin. Myosin will bind actin through this cross bridge, and it's going to slide the actin, causing muscle contraction. The best way to describe cardiac muscle contraction is to talk about the mechanism of action of digoxin. By the way, what's the difference between digoxin and digitalis? Digitalis is an umbrella term. It's a class of medication that includes mainly three drugs. Number one is digoxin, number two is digitoxin, and the third one is wabane. Before we talk about the mechanism of action of digoxin, let's talk about the normal cardiac myocyte. It has two main pumps, primary active transport and secondary active transport. The primary, sodium out, potassium in. Thank you so much. Secondary means it's secondary to the primary. It depends on the ATP released or the energy liberated in the primary active transport site. Now there is lots of sodium outside thanks to the primary sodium-potassium pump. This lots of sodium on the outside is going to push some sodium to the inside. Since sodium is positive, let's push something positive to the outside to establish equilibrium. And this is called sodium-calcium exchanger, which is an antiport or counter-transport. Now calcium has been removed from the cardiac myocyte to the outside. Digoxin wants to increase cardiac contractility. It's going to contract those cardiac muscles, baby. How does it do it? Okay, look at this. It's going to block the primary active transport. And since the secondary active transport was secondary to the primary, now the secondary is also inhibited. That's two birds with one stone. Now calcium cannot exit the cell because sodium cannot enter the cell. Therefore, calcium is going to accumulate inside the cardiac myocyte. And of course, calcium is the hero of contraction. That's how calcium can cause cardiac contractility. Next, there is something unique to the cardiac myocyte, which is the plateau. The plateau is caused by mainly calcium and potassium. Calcium is coming into the muscle, potassium is leaving the muscle. Why do we need plateau? Because we need a sufficient diastolic time. Why do we even care about diastole, man? I only want to care about systole. We care about diastole because this is when your coronary arteries fill. Doofus, do you want to live or do you want to die? I want to live. So you should be grateful that you have a plateau, and you should be thankful that you have calcium. Now, when calcium enters into the cardiac myocyte, it's gonna lead to a beautiful phenomenon called calcium-induced calcium release. Calcium, which is coming into the muscle or into the muscle cell of the heart, is gonna reach the sarcoplasmic reticulum, which is a modified smooth endoplasmic reticulum, leading to release of calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. That's why we call it calcium-induced calcium release. And of course, calcium will lead to contraction. Next, calcium is a hero of coagulation. If you remember the coagulation cascade, calcium is here, one of the 4 members of the Congressional Committee. If you want to learn more about the Congressional Committee and about the fact what is Lionel Messi doing here, please watch my previous video on the coagulation cascade in my glorious YouTube playlist called Bleeding and Coagulation Disorders. Also, calcium is needed to stabilize this labile fibrin into stabilized fibrin fibers together with factor 13, the fibrin stabilizing factor. Here is the calcium mnemonic. Calcium is needed for contraction of muscles, coagulation of blood, cohesion of bone. It's responsible for constipation when you have dysregulation of calcium, carbopedal spasm, cardiac arrest during systole. Calcium is contra-excitability and contra-QT interval. What do you mean by contra-excitability? I mean, when you have less calcium, you have increased nerve excitability. But when you have increased calcium, you'll have decreased nerve excitability. Calcium is contra-QT. When you have hypocalcemia, you'll have prolonged QT interval. But when you have hypercalcemia, you have shortened QT interval. Why is that? Because calcium is the hero of contraction. It makes your heart contract faster and stronger. That's why when you have lots of calcium, it takes less to contract the heart. It takes less time. That's why we shorten the QT interval. Medicine makes perfect sense once understood properly. Calcium is contra-excitability. When you have low calcium, you have increased nerve excitability. That's why patients who have tetany get carbopedal spasm. Spasm is a hyper-excitable nerve. 3 things that you should know about is the troponin C, C for calcium, the calbindin, which binds calcium. What does IN means? It means proteins. Bind because it's going to bind, and cal for calcium. Makes perfect sense. Calmodulin, it's going to modulate calcium. It's a protein that modulates calcium. Beautiful. Bill Gates' strength is in Microsoft, whereas the strength of calcium is in the charges. Only the charged calcium is physiologically active. Only the ionized calcium can cause symptoms. Only the free calcium can exert a negative feedback on hormones. And the 3 hormones that regulate calcium are the PTH, the calcitonin, and the active form of vitamin D, also known as vitamin D3, also known as calcitriol. Next, what is the effect of diuretics on the serum calcium? We have 2 diuretics that affect calcium: loop diuretics and thiazide diuretics. Loop diuretics will lead to hypocalcemia, but thiazide diuretics will lead to hypercalcemia. So here is the mnemonic. With loop diuretics, you will lose calcium, but with thiazides, calcium will thrive, leading to hypercalcemia. This was just a very quick sample of what you can get if you get my Electrolytes course. Electrolytes course contains 19 videos, the 19 PDF notes of these videos, and 10 cases with answers and explanations, more than 5 hours of lectures, and by the way, you can download them and watch them offline, and they are yours forever. This is greater than 5 gigabytes of content. That's a lot. In this course, we talk about the normal kidney physiology. We talk about electrolytes. We talk about diuretics. And of the electrolytes that we talk about are sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, chloride, and phosphate. Like literally everything that you need to know in physiology and internal medicine and pharmacology, like everything. You can go to medicosisperfectionalis.com to know more. I've made these discounts available about 2 days ago, and the 75% one is almost gone. It was intended for 20, only 4 left. If you catch it, great. If you didn't, please go with the 60% discount, and this is for another 20 students. If you didn't catch it, go for the 50% discount. This is for everyone. Again, go to medicosisperfectionalis.com. Would be glad to see you. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and join the tribe. Hit the bell to get notified. You can follow me on all of these platforms, and you can go to my website to get more notes, more cases, more of everything. Thank you so much for watching. This is Medicosis Perfectionalis, where medicine makes perfect sense. As always, be safe, stay happy, and study hard.